Assalamualaikum, amazing souls. I hope you all are doing well. In today's video, we will explore a very important and interesting question. Does Allah Azzawajal communicate with us? How does Allah Azzawajal The Almighty communicate with us? Today's episode is not just a discussion. It's an exhilarating quest into the divine. Have you ever wondered about the mind-blowing power and boundless blessings of Allah? Get ready for an adventure as we unravel the captivating topic, and let's kick things off by immersing ourselves in the awe of our Creator, the one whose blessings are so vast that trying to count them feels like catching stardust. The Quran whispers, if you try to count the blessings of Allah, you will not be able to number them. Can you feel the magnitude of that statement? Allah Azzawajal is the Arabic term that we use to honor and praise Allah as being the mighty and the majestic. He is the creator and the sustainer of everything that exists. He is the one who deserves our worship and obedience. He is the one who loves us more than anyone else. He is the one who knows us better than ourselves. He is the one who wants us to succeed in this life and the next. He is the one who communicates with us in various ways. But how does Allah Azzawajal communicate with us? How can we hear His voice and understand His message? How can we respond to His call and follow His guidance? Hold on to your seats, beautiful souls, because we're diving deep with a mind-blowing journey. Have you ever stopped and wondered how Allah, the Most High, communicates with His creation? Can you grasp the idea that in His majestic glory, He reaches out to us? These are some of the questions that we will try to answer in this video, with the help of Allah Azzawajal. Now, let's draw inspiration from the Quran, where Allah promises, so remember me, I will remember you. And our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, assures us, when you remember Allah, He remembers you. Can you feel the warmth of that connection? Allah Azzawajal is the term that we use to honor and praise Allah as being the mighty and the majestic. He is the one who communicates with us in various ways. As mentioned earlier, the one whose blessings are so vast that trying to count them feels like catching stardust. If you try to count the blessings of Allah, you will not be able to number them. Quran 14:34. But I will try my best to answer this in the top 5 ways as best as I can with the help of Allah the Almighty, the mighty and the majestic. He is the one who communicates with us in various ways. 1. Through the Quran. Allah Azzawajal says in the Quran, this is the book about which there is no doubt, a guidance for those conscious of Allah, which is His word and His speech. It is the final and the most complete revelation from Him to mankind. It contains guidance, wisdom, and reminders for us. It is the source of our faith, our law, and our morals. It is the miracle that proves the oneness of Allah Azzawajal and the prophethood of Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. The Quran is the speech of Allah Azzawajal that He spoke in a way that suits His majesty and glory. It is not created or invented by anyone. It is the eternal and unchangeable word of Allah Azzawajal that He preserved from any alteration or corruption. It is the best and the most eloquent speech that ever existed. It is the most beautiful and the most powerful speech that touched the hearts and minds of people. It is the speech that challenges the whole world to produce something like it or even a part. 2. Through the Sunnah, which is the teachings, actions, and approvals of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. He was, He is, and He will be the best example of how to follow the Quran and worship Allah Azzawajal. 3. Through the signs of nature, which reflect the power, wisdom, and mercy of Allah Azzawajal. He says in the Quran, indeed, in the creation of the heavens and the earth and the alternation of the night and the day are signs for those of understanding. 4. Through our conscience, which is the innate sense of right and wrong that He has placed in every human being. He says in the Quran, and, by, the soul and He who proportioned it, and inspired it, with discernment of its wickedness and its righteousness. 5. Through our prayers, which are a direct connection and conversation with Him. He says in the Quran, And when my servants ask you, O Muhammad, concerning me, indeed I am near. I respond to the invocation of the supplicant when he calls upon me. So, my dear brothers and sisters, this is how Allah Azzawajal communicates with us through the infinite ways. These were just a few examples. But the question is, how do we communicate with Allah Azzawajal? How do we respond to His communication and show our gratitude and appreciation? How do we fulfill our duty and obligation towards His communication and show our obedience and submission? How do we develop our relationship and connection with His communication and show our love and devotion? The answer is, yes, we can communicate with Allah Azzawajal through our prayers, which are a direct connection and conversation with Allah Azzawajal. Allah Azzawajal says in the Quran, and when my servants ask you, O Muhammad, concerning me, indeed I am near. I respond to the invocation of the supplicant when he calls upon me. Our prayers are the best and the most noble of communications that we can ever offer and present to Allah Azzawajal. They are the most beneficial and the most rewarding of communications that we can ever perform and enjoy with Allah Azzawajal. They are the most important and the most obligatory of communications that we can ever establish and maintain with Allah Azzawajal. We should prepare ourselves for the prayer by performing the ablution, wearing clean and modest clothes, choosing a clean and quiet place, facing the Qibla, and making the intention. We should perform the prayer at its prescribed time, without delay or negligence, and preferably in congregation, especially for men. We should recite the Quran with understanding and reflection, and try to memorize and learn more of it. We should say the takbir, the tasbih, the tashahud, the salawat, and make the dua with sincerity and humility, and try to learn and use more of them. We should avoid any distractions or interruptions during the prayer, such as phones, TV, music, or conversations. We should be mindful and attentive of what we are saying and doing in the prayer, and try to feel the presence and the greatness of Allah Azzawajal. We should be humble and submissive in the prayer, and try to show our gratitude and our need of Allah. We should be hopeful and optimistic in the prayer, and try to ask Him for the best of this world and the next. We should be consistent and persistent in the prayer, and try to increase our voluntary prayers, such as the Sunnah, the Nawafil, the Dua, the Witr, and the Tahajjud. These are some of the tips and guidelines that will help us to improve our communication with Allah Azzawajal through our prayers. We should try to apply them and practice them as much as we can, and we will see the difference and the improvement in our prayers and in our lives, inshallah. I hope that you have learned something new and beneficial. We should always be attentive and grateful to the communication of Allah Azzawajal, and seek to understand and follow His commands and guidance. He is the most merciful, the most forgiving, and the most loving. He knows what is best for us, and He wants us to succeed in this life and the next. May Allah bless you and guide you to the straight path. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Please also visit our social media pages for more Islamic content and resources. Thanks for your support to our channel. May Allah Azzawajal reward you and bless you for your support and your generosity.